Welcome back, everyone, to XGS Season 7, where we're coming up with our second shift of tonight. Two more best of ones to end off day number 5 as the group stage comes to a close in just about the next 4 play days. My name is CHAWK, and this is Bianca. And Bianca, coming into our game tonight, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. A beautiful Friday. Of course, the weekend is right around the corner, so I'm so glad to be casting this. I'm so glad to be casting it with you, Mr. Chaka. How are you on this Friday evening?
I'm pretty content with life. I'm pretty content with our upcoming game as well. It's going to be the UNC'S versus CHAWK. I almost forgot the name there for a second, but as you guys can see by what's on your screens, this is the UNC'S roster: Zolaris, Scaries, Mealy, Sta, and Dead. And with the way that they've started the season, they are the 4th team to be flawless to start off XGS Season 7, being second in Group B. And they also have the highest round difference, being +7. They've had a really impressive season compared to other teams that are in their groups, your Carnicos, your Aerial Rises. And they've also beat those teams as well.
Ooh, that's interesting. Seems like this team is a force to be reckoned with. They got Zolaris, Scary, Millie, Sta, and Dead. Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that, but I do recognize a couple of these names, so this is gonna be fun. And who's on the CHAWK roster? Let's see if we're gonna have a comp little game coming up, because I mean this team seems to be pretty all about their stuff. So I wonder if CHAWK is gonna be able to hold up against them.
Yeah, I mean, CHAWK haven't had as good of a season as the UNC'S have had. They are actually won their first game 2 days ago against the Wildcard Aces. It was a very close game, actually, 8-6, so they only got 2 points from that one game. This is our only Group B match, by the way, of tonight. And currently, they sit, I believe, bottom of Group B because Carnico actually won a game yesterday against Boyceville. So, you know, this being the 5th play day, you have 4 more play days left. You have to hope that CHAWK would have to bring it their all here today to actually win a game to get more points on the board, so they have a chance to actually play in playoffs.
Oh, so they got something that they're winning for. Hopefully it's not going to be a breeze. This game would be a little bit disappointed if it was. A couple of these players are pretty recognizable as well, but my favorite part of the entire cast coming up, let's see which map we're going to be going to. Bank! Oh my gosh, Chaka, thoughts on Bank? Because let me tell you, I absolutely love Bank.
I like this map too, but from what I've seen of like CHAWK's ban percentages, they don't really like this map that much. It's their most banned map, tied with Border, which they banned out first. And I'm very surprised that we're going to be going here as a decider, because I know CHAWK actually like this map. I know HUD is on that roster, and HUD loves a good bank map, no matter what team he's playing on, whether that be Monkey Business, CHAWK, or whether that be, I can't remember the team that he played on with Dan's, not Weaves. So, like, you clearly have a team that has a big history on this map. In CHAWK G, they have a positive history on this map, whereas for the UNC'S, they don't really like this map that much, but they had a choice between this and Chalet, and they won Chalet yesterday against Aerial Rise, but they banned it out instead of this, despite that being their choice for the last ban.
Maybe they're tired of Chalet. I'm glad that Chalet's out and we got Bank in instead. This is going to be great. You don't see Bank too often, at least not that I've seen. So when it comes up that once in a little bit of a blue moon, I'm excited. I'm always happy to see Bank get played.
Yep, like you said, barely gets played. So barely gets played enough to the point where this is actually the first time that we're seeing it in XGS this season, despite there being 5 play days. So yeah, first time that it's going to be played in XGS Season 7 between both the UNC'S and CHAWK G. And I'm interested to see how this map will turn out, because I didn't expect the UNC'S yesterday to beat Aerial Rise. I know Aerial Rise are in quite a disarray, but the UNC'S actually had a really good game against them, just like how when they played up against Carnico on Labs, despite the pedigree that Carnico sit at, they completely just outstratted Carnico. So I'm thinking that's kind of like the place out that they're going to be bringing here against CHAWK G, where they're going to be focusing heavy on bringing a game plan here today, following that specific game plan to target their opponent's weakness. And for CHAWK G, they are a very aggressive team, and if you do anything to disrupt their aggression, they will crumble under that pressure.
Ooh, okay. So basically, all they gotta do is kind of win their ones on the UNCs. I mean, well, the UNCs gotta win their ones and just kind of crumble down their extremely aggro style of a play. That's gonna be interesting. And what about the UNCs? Any specific playstyle that the UNCs like to play? I can tell that CHAWK has a lot of people who seem quite aggressive, but I wonder how the UNCs are gonna be able to respond because I've never had the pleasure of seeing them play, so I wonder if they'll be able to answer Chalkett's aggression. But as I'm speaking, we got bans. Do we got any other predictions? We got the Monty off the board. Anything else? Quickly.
Ying is the second most banned option, and I think it's really effective for Bink, specifically on the basement site. It makes a lot of sense that Dokubi is banned instead of her because Bank is a very roam heavy map. You at least want to be effective on your roam game, and if you have the Dokubi up, you can pretty much kiss that goodbye because once she's picked, it makes your roam so much harder to complete. So seeing her banned out, no surprise, followed up by the Valkyrie makes a lot of sense. Bank is a big map, you can hide the cameras almost anywhere. And a follow up to that is Maestro. Now you don't see the Maestro banned a lot, but again, I think I mentioned this like 2 nights ago, but with Solus having her changes and also with Fenrir having his changes and both being made weaker, I mean, not really in the case of the Fenrir because he's still quite good, but mainly in the case of the Solus, you see a lot of teams nowadays banning more info heavy operators. Maestro, because he has his 3 cameras now that was implemented a while ago, has become so much more powerful. He can really lock down a lot of the entry points that exist on any site. So to get him off of the board, especially on this map when he's really effective for second floor play as well, makes a lot of sense too.
I think even before Maestro had been nerfed, he got played quite a lot on Bank. I think he was like a very standard operator that you just had to bring on this map. Since his nerf, I guess he's not nearly as common, but it's nice. Well, that's not nice to see him get banned, but I guess it does make sense. Like you said, I guess other nerfs on certain operators will kind of indirectly affect other operators as well, which maybe Maestro would be one of them, because I'm sure that Fenrir would definitely be banned on here, or even a Solus if they didn't end up getting nerfed. But I digress. We move on into the beginning of the round. It seems like a pretty standard play for both sides, but a C4 comes out, isn't going to connect to anybody though, and that's already one off the board. And as I'm speaking, Mozzie might get taken off the board if he is a little bit unfortunate, steps a little bit too close to danger there.
Attackers have located a bomb.
My bad. That's totally my fault. So I was muted by a complete accident. But
with
that nitro cell being used, he did destroy the default camera out in spawn. Not that that will matter anyway. Scary is on 13 HP now, and that will probably make the gunfights that he gets into so much more prevalent against him because he's on such low HP, and that kind of ruins the plans on this person's second floor in which they have presence on. So they have to be careful when it comes to taking these gunfights because CHAWK G, while they're not in a map in the first minute, they could potentially find a very first pick here.
Yes, and it seems like already we're gonna have the Deimos being very cheeky over in the kitchen. These hatches are open as well, so if they end up losing the control, if the UNCs end up losing control of this could spell a disaster for them. Nothing right now, though. We are gonna be a minute and a half, and already we're gonna see dropping back down to site might just give up a little bit of this open area, and it seems like that will be the case as Finka's gonna start making her way through. Hatches are open. They're gonna be able to get that vertical play, be able to look from above, but of course, nobody is off the board just yet. It's anybody's game.
Deimos tracking for the Mozzie all the way downstairs, so I mean, you at least get the info that he's nowhere near the first floor, and you know that up above Zolaris is by himself, but instead HUD finds the very first pick, and I'm not too sure how that happens. That's the Mozzie off of the board early, or not even early, about a minute into the round. And you know what, CHAWK G, they may have the very first pick, they may have this first floor control, but they have realistically cleared no utility, and you're gonna have to face up against smoke grenades if you're going for their server execute.
Yeah, the smoke is still going to be alive with all 3 canisters up in his bag, as well as the Goyos that are definitely going to be slowing down the attackers if they do end up stepping in the wrong type of spots. Mira, of course, still watching her mirrors as well as her teammates, and we're just going to see as 30 seconds starts to get on the clock. Deimos is going to track somebody, but honestly, you're right. With utility basically still needing to be cleared, it doesn't seem like CHAWK is going to be able to make much of a dent, at least not at this time. They're going to be opening up that single wall, but will it be enough? Of course, one canister's already gone, and make it 2 now. Zolaris is going to take down Mr. Gekyu. It's going to be a 4v4 even. Playing field, we're going to hatch, or drop that hatch, and as for 5 seconds, Schminko's going to take down one. Highlight, though. Fortunately, those Goyo canisters are going to be not the best for his teammates, but as the Fuse to get planted, it is going to be a 1v2 now. CHAWK it in the disadvantage, but they might be able to win this off. 35 seconds from the bottom of blue, and oh my god, it seems like Millie is going to be on the flank, but does HUD know a flash is going to come out? Seems like from on top of the hatch, he's gonna drop that. He knows he's bottom blue stairs with the shotgun coming out. He knows that he's there. Another flash to come out is gonna take him down, though. Beautifully done. Millie's plays that great, shoots a couple extra bullets, and with that, we'll defuse that bomb with a lot of time to spare. The first round won out by the UNC'S.
And I'm honestly pretty shocked that they got as close as it did for the UNC'S because, you know, seemingly they had everything for the execute planned for, even though the roam game fell off. You know, it fell off at the perfect time with about 1:30 left, and CHAWK it still hadn't cleared any utility by that point. You can see that like their time restraint was really biting them in the butt, especially with those smoke grenades being used on the plant spot. But I think what really happened towards the end there for the UNC'S to have that be as close as it was that nobody was really able to shut down the mirror flanking in from the elevator. That provided so much distraction. And then the plant, while all the chaos was happening on the backside, the plant was still able to be completed towards server. And I'm not too sure what happened to the smoke grenades, but maybe they just got put on the desk so they couldn't reach that specific plant spot on the breach. Either way, very close for a round like that, because like CHAWK it didn't really seem to have everything set up for themselves. It seemed very chaotic towards the end, and it didn't really feel like they had a foothold in that round.
They had that early advantage at the beginning of the round, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately. And like you were mentioning, they didn't clear much utility, so despite them having the advantage, it'll only go so long if you're not able to take site effectively. If you still got to worry about everybody else's utility, it's just not going to be good. So hopefully this round, they'll be aggressive, but they will still be able to play a little bit smart, get the advantage, clear out the utility when it's needed, and win out the round. But it is only round 2, so there's still lots and lots and lots of time and a lot of rounds for them to work with. Already though, get a little bit aggressive. Gonna be opening up a window and a wall with that ace charge.
And they also have to contend with these armor barriers on site. Luckily, they don't only have the ace to deal with a lot of this destructible utility. You also at least have the 417 marksman rifle in the back in the hands of Spider, and you also have the Habana pellets as well to help you clear some of these zombie barriers out. For the time being, they're not going to be really looking to directly attack site. They want to try and clear some parts of the second floor, and it does seem like there is some utility around the second floor. A mirror window in janitor office, that's where the sentry is holding upstairs. There's nobody down below to deny them just jumping in through the windows, apart from the mirror window inside of janitor. And already CHAWK it, just like how they did in the last round, have found the very first kill in this one.
Beautifully done. Gekyu was just gonna take down still. This is the mirror off the board, but her black mirrors are already placed, so it doesn't matter too much that it's gonna be one C4 gone, but we'll see how the round pans out. This is basically deja vu. Same thing as last round, and hopefully it won't be the same. Hopefully CHAWK will be able to get a little bit of utility off the board, at least figure out their way around to this round. There was so it won't be that bad. Neither will there be a Goyo, so I'm sure it'll be a lot easier. But as I say that, even though a C4 is off the board, that will not stop Millies from taking a kill onto Schminko, making it a 4v4 with just about a minute remaining.
Looks like CHAWK just started taking this extremely slow, just like how in the very first round. Even though they get like good control of stairs or above the bomb site, they just can't really make anything happen like anywhere near the site, because right now they're just taking their time and they're not really gaining any space for it. Another player in the ace has rotated over by the back alley area in order to try and attack the square, and they make use of the vertical. Now they only have 45 seconds left though to drop down these hatches and make the site execute work.
Well, a 2v4 is what we're going to be at. It seems like CHAWK is going to be pretty nicely with the advantage. There is going to be 30 seconds remaining, though. Will the boys on the UNC'S be able to hold this out with just 2 players? They will be at a 2-man disadvantage, and it seems like the vertical is going to be kind of pushing them into corners. They're not going to be able to move as freely as they would like because they got to worry about who's going to be above, but it seems about 10 seconds remaining. Of course, we're going to have the warden tail left, so these flashes aren't going to do anything for him, but the bombs are going to start to get planted. It seems like an island is going to get it down. Gek is going to take down yet another, and a 1v4 quickly gets finished off as Spider will finish off Mr. Solaris, cleaning out the second round. That was extremely close, 10 seconds, but well done to CHAWK it for winning out round 2.
Yep, just playing in for their win condition, using the vertical up above very effectively to deny any of the power positions on site. And the UNC'S can't quite leave, or they just didn't want to attempt a retake towards site because they wanted to stay in power positions, knowing that CHAWK's only real entry was through the open area doorways next to the beeper and also down the open area hatch. And so they just wanted to try and play their power positions longer on site to try and deny those specific entry points. But by doing that, they just kind of gave themselves up to the vertical, and they can't effectively play those positions anymore, and they're just like very stuck. So they can't, even if they wanted to fall off at some point, they can't necessarily do that because they've already packed themselves in the corner by being very stubborn and not retreating off of their positions to attempt a retake later on. So that's very good work from CHAWK it to play into their win conditions, the vertical angles, and then setting themselves up later on for the late round. But again, there seems to be a common pattern with these attacks is the fact that CHAWK it are letting them just get way too long, and they're wasting a lot of time most of the time in these rounds.
Yeah, but what if it's all calculated, CHAWK? What if they want the advantage, they hold off for so long so they can push UNC'S in a corner and just win out the round as late as they possibly can? That would be interesting. Hopefully we'll see extremely close rounds like we did that last one, as we are going to be going upstairs open area, although they lost it. Seems like no more, they're done with that. Upstairs is where we're gonna go. And yet again, we're gonna have a pretty basic setup. I'm surprised to see Mira played every single site, or at least all the ones that we've seen. I typically don't see Mira. Yeah, I feel like Amira's really great downstairs, but I don't feel like I ever see her upstairs or in open. Maybe it's just, maybe it's more of a PC thing, but it's interesting to see, that's for sure. Although you gotta watch out, Mr. Spider is gonna get a little bit cheeky. And Mrs. Ami better watch herself before she gets her head taken off or a little haircut with it.
It's already going to work from CHAWK it to remove some of these Kiba barriers, and already that is most likely just going to be down to 1 or 2 at this point, considering that you already used some of the Kiba barriers. Yep, 1 more Kiba barriers, so he's already used some of the Kiba barriers already early on in this round. So that's good work from CHAWK it to waste a lot of utility here from the defense, and that makes these Windows positions even more powerful. You also still have the Sophia up alive as well. No more impacts, but you at least still have the Habana pellets as well to continue clearing some of these castle barricades. First kill goes in favor of CHAWK yet again. They're very consistent in getting these open hits, and they find it onto the Azami, who still have 1 Kiba barrier left in her back pocket.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Again, more deja vu as the uncertainty be the disadvantage, and not even just that, but it seems like Nylak has just made his way absolutely, taking down anybody in his path, make it 3 kills, beautifully done. Oh my gosh, Nylak, let him cook. The commando doing all the work, let it talk and let it talk loud stuff. He's gonna be on top of these marble stairs. Unfortunately, he's gonna be put in the bad situation. It feels like there's gonna be somebody not only to his right, but to his left. Schminkololol is gonna finish him off, and that's gonna be a quick round for CHAWK it as they win out round 3.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how that happened with Dialect just rushing in through square, going through the janitor hallway. The only thing I can think of is the fact that they got rid of the shield and soda machine, so the warden was trying to play slightly more aggressive inside of the stock area. Now nobody's watching, and because of that, nobody's watching the hallway walk in. He gets 2 kills from janitor, and then he kills the person trying to retake from stock. So that was just a very good weakness recognized from CHAWK it, where the UNC'S just left a very big gap open, a very important one, and nobody's like none the wiser. They have no info on square because by that point the default camera has been taken out, and you also have no information operators neither. So very good round from CHAWK it. And also, what's been happening a lot of the times in these rounds for the UNC'S is that they've been losing the opening pick so much, they're already in a 5v4 before they even have a chance to, like, get ready for, like, the execute there from CHAWK, who do take a long time, yes, to get themselves set up for the late round. But still, like,
5 seconds
they need to
remaining.
get a hamper on the early round because CHAWK are completely dominating them on these opening picks.
Attackers objective is to locate a
Absolutely
bomb
right.
and
Couldn't have
defuse
said
it.
it better myself. It seems like I'm not sure if they're just joining them out and just, you know, being able to get there, or CHAWK, it's just like you said, a very aggressive team. They just get in there and they're able to win their one. Seemed like the first round was the only round that it seemed a little bit wobbly, but these last 2 rounds have definitely shown that they're able to get aggressive, play the late game, as well as just play the game and end up winning their ones pretty early on. We'll see a little bit of vertical play being played by, of course, Elysian and Mr. Vigil, which we saw when they did end up going basement the first time around as well. There was a bit of vertical play, having these hatches open to watch from above. Hopefully, they'll be able to win out this round like they did the first time they went here.
Yep, and hopefully CHAWK can, like, learn to speed it up as well and try and get some utility in the early round, but I don't... Schmink just tries to sneak in, and to be fair, the UNC'S were pushed very far back. He has the space to do that, then he pays for it with this lag. There's a lot of info off the board there for CHAWK. At least you still have the Grimbies up. And at the moment, the UNC'S, with that very first kill, have saw it fit to just rotate back down the site
Attackers have dropped the bomb
and give up
diffuser.
the first floor control over to CHAWK because they've wasted enough time and they got this early pick. So why not? I think this is a very good idea from the UNC'S, who have really good fallback positions at this point.
Yes, last time CHAWK ended up taking control of vertical, they weren't able to maintain it. There was just too much utility they needed to take care of, as well as that, of course, the smoke is going to be a big thorn in the side of CHAWK, as he is going to be alive with his beautiful 3 smoke canisters. Although, this round, it seems like that hatch isn't going to be opened up, that main hatch, I believe it's servers, or not servers, sorry. Anyways,
Attackers recovered the
your mom
bomb
say that
diffuser.
is. That hatch is going to be open now anyways, as they do bring a Hibana. But with just about a minute remaining in the round, I mean, the UNC'S have set themselves up pretty well, and we're going to see CHAWK is going to be able to respond any better than they did the first time they attacked here.
It's going to be about trying to clear some utility around the basement site, and you also still have the smoke grenades, which one has been used for the hatch drop, and to be fair, that's pretty smart to be UNC'S, recognizing that CHAWK really do have to push in deep at some point. Goyo canisters still have not been cleared, neither from CHAWK, who are taking it very slow in the basement site, and they can't really do this. They have to start moving right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit hard. They're basically forced to drop this one hatch. Maybe somebody can get cheeky and drop by the elevator, but I mean, it just doesn't seem very likely. Of course, Vigil going to be watching back with the beautiful Bashi, waiting for them to walk in through, but the smokes are going to deny him a little bit of sight. The Grim is going to start planting his bomb, and Spider's going to get the first pick with the first pick for his team, making it a 4v4, but I speak too soon. Dad will take down Gekyu with his beautiful Goyo canisters. That's great that they were there for the late round. However, the bomb he forced to take it down. Mr. Spider, who was playing above on the hatch, and with that vertical play it down, it seems like Mr. St is going to start to take control of Vert and make sure that nobody's going to be watching above for the plant denial. They better be careful. Legion taps it. He's going to try and figure it out, but damn! Oh my god! Seems like a 1v or 2v2 turns to a 2v1. It's going to be Mr. HUD left alone. Of course, gonna have to watch out, but gets taken down with just about a second remaining for this diffuser to go off, and the UNC'S yet again will win down in basement.
Yet again, it's CHAWK just running into a lot of the late round utility. It also killed the person, even though they get the diffuser down yet again, and I'm very surprised as to how that happened, considering the fact that the UNC'S had utility, late round utility. They also had smoke grenades, which they used very poorly, and they didn't really use it for the execute there against CHAWK, apart from like maybe the hatch drop, but CHAWK never really dropped the hatch. He just walked in through the doorway and smoked sight off. And they also had nitro cells as well, so I'm so very surprised that that plant was able to go through. It goes through anyways, but you still have the UNC'S who haven't dealt with any of the on-site utility like the Goyo canister right next to the default plant spot, simply because they don't have enough time to do so. And again, it's a common trend on the basement site when they're attacking, and this is something that a lot of teams do, not just CHAWK. They just take so much time, and I don't really know what the reasoning is. It just takes so much time for the basement site, and you still have utility that's up that they haven't necessarily cleared quite yet.
Bomb located by
Yeah,
attackers.
and maybe we'll see the UNC'S be able to adapt a little bit better this round, because last time they did go here, CHAWK, it ended up winning, and it ended up winning pretty swiftly, as it ended up being a 2v4 before they just kind of all lost it. So we'll see if the UNC'S are going to be able to maintain this little bit of momentum that they had as they did win that last round, if they're able to adapt to CHAWK's playstyle, because it seems like they don't need to adapt much when it comes to them defending the basement. But the other two sites are another question that needs to be answered. Seems like as well an entirely different attacking lineup for CHAWK. I think this is the first time we're seeing Ash, Zero, and Bug being played at all this entire game for them. The Ram and the Hibana makes sense, but the other three operators seem to be completely new, which I'm surprised to see in Ash, considering the UNC'S didn't end up bringing Amira. But again, maybe they just really like the R4C.
Also could be because it also could. Oh, wow. Okay. It also could be because the UNC'S have decided to.
Oh, I
Because
think
the
I
UNC'S
just heard
consistently
Shaka leave the
brought-
call. Oh,
Yeah.
was it?
My bad.
Did you end up leaving the call?
You just like. Yeah. You
Oh.
did.
That's what it was. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry, Chaka.
Fine. I was gonna say, I think because the UNC'S have consistently brought the Mira over and over again, the Ash is a direct counter to that. But also, the Ash can be like good for other things. It could be good against the Azami, which again the UNC'S have brought consistently in every single round. And Gekko ends up being the first pick. The UNC'S are consistently now getting on the board when it comes to these first bloods, but you still have CHAWK who do have that overwhelming lead in terms of the opening kills.
We'll see if they're able to equalize it out. Of course, like you did mention, Giga will be the first one taken down. That's going to be unfortunate considering that every single other round, you know, they were getting the first frags. But we'll see how well that goes. Millie is going to get taken down by Mr. Schmickel. And we're back to a 4v4, a leveled out playing field. The verticality is going to be a little bit of a nuisance for the boys on the UNC'S. I wonder if they're able to handle it. There is. And it just seems like a crazy pattern. CHAWK get mad aggro and then just ends up taking extremely long. Schmickel is gonna get aggro and a little bit evil as he does a little bit more than he needs to. And with that, CHAWK start at a disadvantage, will have the advantage.
Yep, and the vertical angles keep being effective here against the UNC'S, where they just have no safe place to play. They're playing in unexpected positions that CHAWK are actually reading into. They can't play inside of the teller's position, so they play behind the teller's desk. They can't play anywhere.
But quickly gets refragged by Mr. Stud. 30 seconds. They do know that he is going to be in this elevator, though. Are they going to try and double swing him? Is it going to be a 3-2-1 swing type of situation? We'll see. Stud ends up dropping the hatch, but it will not matter. Nyla will finish him off with that R4C, and it's going to be up to Mr. Dead in sight alone. There is going to be, though, 15 seconds. All he has to do is watch this door and make sure nobody comes in from his right, and he'll be good to go. Time continues to tick. Hibana does have the bomb in hand. She is going to start planting. I'm sure he's able to kind of get where this is going now. Bomb is going to be planted. It's going to be 40 seconds, but that won't even be needed. Nylek with his beautiful R4C will finish him off quite beautifully. So, and with that, yet again, open area goes so late, and the boys on the UNC'S unable to hold it for just that little bit longer. CHAWK win out that 5th round.
Yep, and to be fair, CHAWK again just used the vertical angles really, really well. That time it gave them really good info as to where the UNC'S would be rotating into. They can't play inside of tellers because you have a lot of vertical vert being made above tellers, so you play behind the teller's desk. That's easily read into by the Ash running in from up above to then going down to the first floor. You can't play in tellers yet again, so you play into elevator. You can't. It's like the vertical just does so much in that round against the UNC'S. They can't really play anywhere else, and I'm like very confused as to why, because most teams, when they have the vertical being used against them that heavily, they can't play inside of tellers. They can't really do much in any other areas around the first floor that has a lot of vertical stuff up against it. They usually try and like prepare for retakes. They prepare for flanks. They try and like surprise the attack before they can overwhelm them on the site, and the UNC'S haven't really adjusted to that whatsoever. So I mean, lead for CHAWK, well deserved, because they've completely just like read into their win conditions, even if the round has gone like super late.
And this round a little bit different. The Unks are going to be going back upstairs doing that full rotation like they did previously, but there isn't going to be a Zafia. Instead, we're going to see none other than a Glaz, which I'm sure will be great for those windows, but unfortunately Ying will get taken off early. Scary to take him down beautifully, so we'll take a little bit of damage, but not enough to really put into him, and with that already the boys on the Unks will be at the man advantage. It seems like at the beginning of this, prior to split, it seemed like CHAWK were getting the first picks, but now the Unks are stepping it up and are able to get the opening picks instead of CHAWK, so it seems like it's like flipping back and forth with that. Damn, Scary. Take it down.
And they also just like never really figured out where Scary was in that whole entirety of the round there for the Unks, or for CHAWK. So now that they've lost 2 picks, one of them being onto the Ying, that's very good for the second floor. Even though they trade him out, you lose one of your best operators when it comes to your execute, and that's going to really damage CHAWK's chance of winning this round.
However, the fire darts and the smoke darts are going to start to come in. Seems like they might just start planting this bomb, getting rid of that BP, but no need. So Laris is going to hit him in through that little cabinet, and Jackal, top scorer now, is going to be figuring out where everybody is. That great piece of utility will help him, but I mean, in a 2v4, will they be able to win this out, or at least equalize it out in terms of man count? He does hit a Legion Mine. Luckily, he doesn't get swung out. It seems like the boys on the Unks are going to play it passive and patient, but never mind. Dead is going to take down Nile, and Schmickelolo, though, is going to take down not just 1, but 2. A 2v1 now, which is about a minute, but it doesn't matter. Dead to get that final pick on this round, and that's going to be split. Looking at 3-3 is not too shabby.
Yep, considering the fact that Bank as of recently has become more attacker-sided, you look at statistics from Element 3, for example, Bank is like really good for the attackers. So getting a 3-3 half on your defensive side is actually like really, really good. And I like the way that the Unks played that round. They played into some like informational now, primarily through the visual, and CHAWK just couldn't like necessarily counter it, despite having the Jackal on the board, lurking through archives and then going in through tellers. They never could really get any good info onto the visual. And he took out, like, again, the most important operator in that lineup for CHAWK and the Ying, where when they wanted to go for that window play upstairs, usually if the Ying was alive, they would counter the position of Banana where the Legion was playing in, the middle of meeting, or even towards Janitor where the Warden was playing in, where you're having to force him to go into the animation to use his goggles. CHAWK didn't really have any more of that utility for the late round, and they suffer because of it. Now going on to their defenses, they will start off with the basement side first. And I like the lineup that they're coming into with this round. They have the castle to lock off lots of lines of sight, especially on this first floor, which indicates that they are going to be extending up top. And they also have the mirror windows to anchor heavy on the basement floor.
Beautiful, as well as the Goyo. We'll see if the Unks are going to take as long as CHAWK did to push down the site, because CHAWK did not win once when they ended up attacking down here. So we'll see if the Unks are going to be able to play it a little bit differently versus how CHAWK did. See, but as of right now, everything seems pretty standard. Nothing really out of the ordinary or anything really spectacular, anything mind-boggling. Both teams are practically playing very standard, setups, very, very normal, very linear. But already, though, we've established a lot of control over here by CC. The Unks seem to be taking it a lot faster than CHAWK, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah, it looks like they want to go for a direct take, opening up the server walls with the exothermic charge. That will probably do with the Goyo canisters on the default plant spot. And then also they have the OSA here for this direct server take. This has become very popular, especially when you recognize that there is no server hole. The server hatch is still closed as well for the Unks. They have a prime position to plant here, especially if they have somebody up top watching the rotation from above.
Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. The smoke canisters are already going to come out, and it's only a minute 40 into the round. Already one out of his pocket. We are going to have somebody playing above, but like you said, that hatch for CC isn't going to be, or server, whatever it is, I believe it's CC, isn't going to be open. And so in that case, it's going to be a little more difficult for them to be able to counter any plant that might come their way. Not only that, but this Mira is unfortunately going to get broken. They aren't going to have a decent line of sight, as well as they're going to have to watch out in case anybody becomes a little bit of a cheeky devil over by Garage. Plant is going to start to go down. Unfortunately, they're going to get off it as they will be tagged a little bit. And we're approaching about a minute remaining. I'm sure that somebody's going to be coming in through Garage. It seems like Schminkelolo senses something that we might not. Still a 5v5, though a lot of controls taken over from servers, but not much has been done about it just yet. Osa might just prop up her shield and try to get this plant down. However, we are going to have a couple C4s in our pockets. We'll see if Warden and Mira are going to be able to deny anything as the round begins to dwindle.
Have 2 more nitro cells in the back pocket, another smoke grenade used, and you have no utility here for Rocket. Where are the nitro cells? Smoke grenade used, plant goes down, and the Youngs have a prime post plant position that Rocket never tried to disrupt.
This is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? 2 C4s on the board and nobody thinks to just kind of swing it out, even just crouch by there and just toss it. I mean, seriously, not even an attempt. I didn't hear a single C4 blow until after the plant was done and initiated. That is not looking too good. The Youngs got very early control, did it quite well, and I guess CHAWK just didn't know what to do despite that round going on for so long. It just, that must have been a miscalculation. That must have been a misinput.
They just never inputted at all, I'm gonna be completely honest. Okay, sure, like they use the smoke grenades early, that's completely fine. That's what the Unks want you to do because they're already hitting site. They have the OSA shield set up in server. You have no extension into server. You didn't waste any time. That's completely fine to use the smoke grenades. Goyo canisters have been popped by the attack as well, which further wastes time for the attack in the early and in the mid round. Completely fine. I'm okay with that. However, again, you have explosives to deal with the OSA shield, and they already used 2 impacts to destroy one of them. You can use another nitro cell to destroy the next one, and that would be, there would be no cover for the Unks to hide behind for a plant position. So CHAWK just didn't really do much of anything to stop the plant apart from tossing 1 smoke grenade, but by that time the plant was already completed.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I'm not sure what CHAWK are going to be doing this time, or even the Unks. I'm wondering if they're going to take that aggro and bring it this round as well. That would be pretty interesting, but I'm sure that if they do CHAWK it, I mean, God willing that CHAWK it's going to be prepared for that, considering that last round it just seems like they weren't, or it just seemed like they weren't at all. We'll see if the Unks will be going in for a similar take or just the same one at all. Already though, they might just going in through the garage, or at least have 2 people kind of roaming about doing their own solo pushes while everybody else goes in through one direct area. But with that, Gekyu to take the first pick, it is going to be onto Dead. That is leaving your Thermite off the board, but walls are already open, so it's not really that necessary.
But there's still a body off the board, and they didn't even get the left side open neither, and that provides a direct angle towards the server doorway. So losing the Thermite, I'm sorry, but that is a huge deal here for Young. The fact that they lost it is kind of devastating, but they, on the flip side, CHAWK could also lose the Melusi, and that's the person in the middle of the server site that was stopping you from entering in the first place.
Well, score is going to be equaled out, at least for as of right now, for V4, as they did end up getting the refrag onto Gekyu. We'll see if they're going to be able to continue with that little bit of momentum. They ended up getting that kill, and we'll see if they're going to be able to carry it through further. Of course, still playing over CC. Last time, Osa did end up planting the bomb as well. She had her shield up, and I wonder if CHAWK is going to be able to utilize their C4s a little bit better. We are going to see some hatches getting open for a little bit of that burnt play, but again, time dwindles, a minute 20, and not much else has happened as of right now, other than a couple hatches opening, but nothing drastic as of right now.
Mentioned the explosives, they only have 1 nitro cell to stop this, so realistically, CHAWK would have to get it right with the 1 single nitro cell and hope that they get the OSA along with the Talon shield at the same time, which is going to be completely impossible. You can just run away the moment you hear the nitro cell rip, and then that's the explosive already done with, or you can just shoot it as it's going away. Either way, the Unks have another good position to try and plant in, but it's just about, it's going to be that difficulty of just trying to walk in with the Talon shields, which they've already completed already, and he picks the Talon shield up so the smoke spreads. That's very surprising that he didn't just like keep it down and then try and go for another plant. He keeps walking back into it anyways. either way, 35 seconds left, and so far CHAWK still have a way to deny this attack even further, and they even have one smoke left.
Yes, beautifully done. They are going to have the man advantage. Make it 2, actually. Osa is also going to be extremely tagged. The smoke canisters of the farts are too much for her 11 HP. She's got to wait for the smokes to just run out and start getting this plant down and dusted. Of course, Scary is going to be watching for her. Will take down Mr. Schminkpololol, and that's going to be the C4 off the board. Echo, however, is going to be useful, and with that, it seems like the round is just going to be done. The Echo came in absolute clutch. Nylek getting 2, and I believe he's at double digits now. So, my gosh, he's playing absolutely amazing. However, the score is still 4-4, evened out.
Yeah, I mean, Scary said it himself. That was like really weird with the with the Osa planting shield thingy. I don't really understand what his point was when he was just trying to like go back and forth with the shield. He stopped the smoke from spreading. He could have tried to attempt to plant from there. And also there was a big contingency plan for CHAWK in that whole entire round. They still had the smoke grenades up, and they also had the echo drones in the
Attackers
last
need to
round, which
locate
the
and
Uncs
defuse as
didn't
many
really
bombs as they
realize
can.
existed until it was time for them to plant. So either way, you know, CHAWK at least had more security for the late round, keeping the smoke grenades for longer in their back pockets, while also ensuring they still had echo drones inside of the site to stop the plant when it happened. And the Uncs brought no counters
Attackers
to
have
the echo
discovered the
drones,
location of a bomb.
like no IQ, like they look like they wanted to bring in this round.
We'll see how this round goes out. This will be the first time that CHAWK is going to be going here, of course, because the last 2 rounds they did end up going the basement. So we'll see what their open area defense is going to look like. Seems like going to have a couple of holes. And of course, vertical play is I feel like vertical play is just extremely common on this. I mean, most maps I think have a lot of vertical play, but I think Bank it's viable everywhere, and so we'll see a lot of it being played out. Let's see if the Unks are gonna be able to take control of the top and work their way down that hash though. Notch. And then actually, why does it seem like almost no? Where is everybody? I see a couple people over on by site, but it seems like a lot of this extension is just on the main floor, and a little bit. I see somebody in basement. Maybe the top floor isn't what we're gonna be focused on this round, at least.
Doesn't look like it. They may be trying to play in archives and colors with the nitro cells from below. So if the Uncs randomly just try to go upstairs and make vertical, which they have no operators to do so, you at least have the plan to nitro cell them from below. But it seems like for the Uncs with this blitz in play and them taking a lot of time to drone this out, they want to go for a more direct take towards site, sending some players up above in order to provide an extra angle to work with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We saw when CHAWK was attacking, I believe it was Nylek, that was playing a lot of the round, but not much vertical operators are going to be brought. So, like you said, seems like a bit more of a direct take. We'll see how that's going to go. Spider hiding over by, I believe this is Archives, and we'll see if he's going to be able to get picked off. I'm sure they'll be able to drone him out. He's in a pretty conspicuous place, but those mute jammers are going to make it a little bit difficult for them to truly be able to drone him fully and properly. We'll see if that's going to be any success to him, but already a minute and a half off the board, and nobody has been touched, not even a bit of HP. They are aware that he's going to be in Archives, but where is where we will find out. Let's come in and roll in a C4. We'll find 2, and we're at a 3v5.
Ends up getting the kill. Shink finds another, but CHAWK have completely found this defense or this attack stalwart for the Uncs, who have, while they've depended on the blitz and he's still alive, he's only found 1 kill and he's stranded between a 3-man crossfire.
Let's see. I'm wondering where the Brava is right now. It seems like hopefully she's going to meet up with her beautiful blitz. Still's going to have to make his way in. He does have the bomb, though, so at least they do have that handy, but we'll see how far that will get him. The Capcan is going to be at a sliver of HP. Schmickolo is going to get one, though, and it's going to be up to Mr. Sta in a 1v4. Get you! Will shotgun him beautifully so, and with that, the Uncs losing out that round, CHAWK winning their first time going open. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself, considering that there was just no top control at all. They basically played just with the extension of the main floor.
And to be fair, like, even if the outside default was still up, CHAWK took so long to like enter the map and make any noise anywhere else, to the point where it was very easy to understand what they were trying to do. If you take that long to do something, it's obvious that you're just gonna like do a specific rush in a specific place. And sadly, square rushes are very common for the first floor site, with the blitz going straight into tellers or going straight into archives or straight into staff and open area, which is what they were trying to do. And because they couldn't necessarily entry as easily going into square because of the archives player, they all tried to go for a 3-man push at the same time with the blitz going ahead. And sadly, it all ended because of a single nitro cell. And as we go into a quick tech pause, it's already CHAWK up 5-4 against UNC'S, who currently are sitting flawless in second in their group stage, having beat more reputable teams than CHAWK, who I think are good players. But this is a very big surprise to me.
Yeah, at least CHAWK figured out how to use their C4s. Beautifully done. But it seems like this tech might take a little bit longer. So I think we're going to be pushing you guys to a break while we wait for everybody to get situated and back and locked and loaded. So see you guys maybe in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. CHAWK, you think it'll be 5 minutes? Go get yourself a coffee or water or anything, a snack.
back, everyone, with our game between CHAWK and the UNC'S in our one and only Group B match of tonight, where the UNC'S do trail by just one round, with CHAWK only one round away from being on match point. Now, for our first sight back after the tech pause, we will be going into Archives and Tellers, where CHAWK will be trying to defend and will try to put themselves onto that match point lead.
We will be seeing all 4 sites being played this match. We're not going to be seeing CHAWK going upstairs. Instead, like you said, opting for the Archives and Tellers, which will be the 4th and final site that we needed to see. So we got the full round rotation beautifully so. Let's see. This will be the first time we're watching anybody defend it, so this is going to be news to us. Will CHAWK be able to defend it quite nicely? The UNC'S didn't end up going here, so maybe CHAWK will be able to show us some new tech along the way as they defend here, or maybe the UNC'S will be able to take advantage as they did lose the previous round.
Like, very hard to defend too, because of just how much you have to do when it comes to defending Archives and Tellers. It's a very small site to play on. There's a lot of vertical above it, unlike open areas and staff room, where there's only a small section of open area where the vertical is available to the attackers. Once you just send a ram drone in there, just like what the UNC'S did just now, you can no longer play onto site. And so for CHAWK, it's a very heavy off-site hold, not only up top, but also horizontally as well, and also in the basement too. So they have a big contingency plan throughout this whole round as to how they want to hold this new site, or well, not new site, but this very unpopular site.
Niche, maybe. It's like more of a niche, unused site. But already Zolaris making his way in through that long desk. I believe it was Spider who was up here being a cheeky little booger, so we'll see where he's at right now. It seems like he's already done rotated out. He's out of there. He's like, I'm not going to bother with this no more. It's just a little bit too unsafe for him, and it seems like top control might just be in the UNC's favor if they start making their way through. A lot of versions already being established. The Ram, of course, making their job just that much easier, and so seems like the play is just gonna have to be CHAWK basically defending from their extended basement and their main floor hold.
No waves being made so far this round from the UNC'S, who really only have vertical to play with, but knowing even if they do have all this vertical available to them, they still have to clear out a large portion of this map, and with only a minute left, they haven't really cleared out open area, though that opener from Stud down in basement may be the answer that they need, and an opener that will get them to a key point inside of this round.
Yes, they will be at the man advantage. We'll see if CHAWK are going to be able to hold out despite not having a player with them. The Echo Alive might be extremely interesting too. Shminkololol is going to take down Stud, though. That's the refrag and the Nomad off the board, so she didn't end up using her air jabs. Well, this could be great for the boys on CHAWK if they're trying to get cheeky, especially for Mr. Capcan, who was basically in and around the bottom of these marble stairs. And with that Nylax, oh my gosh, we'll take down one, Gekyu onto another, and a 2v4 quickly turns to a 1v4. Seems like everybody's getting the pick, but dead will cheekily get the plant off. 40 seconds, he needs to hold in a 1v4, is gonna take a little bit of HP off that from the bandits, and unfortunately, despite him getting that plant off, it will not mean a thing. CHAWK will win that, and I mean, it wasn't close at all. 6-4 is what we're looking at. Match point in favor of CHAWK.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, the Archives Teller site is very hard to defend, but if you don't really understand what to do on the attack, it can be very hard to do as well. And for UNC'S, while again they did get good control up top, they never really cleared any of the horizontal angles, and they never really had enough info on anybody from CHAWK. They didn't even know there was a second player down in basement. They only found one of them, and the Nomad still got flanked from another player in basement that she just didn't know anything about. So that round, but now they at least go back to familiar territory, going back to the space fight. Last time they bring the Warden, they bring the Echo. Only 2 new operators that I've seen in this lineup that didn't exist before on a CHAWK defensive setup. Well, no, the Goyo was there before, but the Castle wasn't. Yeah, Castle wasn't.
This is interesting.
Actually,
They're
no, this is
opting
the same
not for
setup.
the Mira.
Yeah, no.
But-
I mean,
Do you
To be
think
fair-
Amira is necessarily viable? I feel like they didn't end up really using her to the best of abilities anyways.
they never picked into her. To be fair with you, I don't think they ever picked into her on a
Yeah, no, they did. Remember, they ended up going down here, and they're both of their mirrors just ended up getting trashed. Like they ended up
Nah.
getting crushed out.
This was the same setup that they had every single time they've gone in basement. I'm pretty sure.
No way I'm hallucinating Amira. Is Mira just that crazy? I'm hallucinating them bringing her? Oh my gosh. With that though, get cute. Taken down early, a 5v4. First time we saw CHAWK go here, they ended up losing. So we'll see if they're gonna be able to bring it home with this, maybe perhaps final round.
And actually, even though it's onto the Goyo, you still have to try and do the hard work of clearing the Goyo canisters on side of sight. Something that both teams have struggled to do when it comes to the late round is trying to clear utility and managing it for when they do end up going for their plant. So, you know, HUD does find a kill back, and that happens to be on a Thermite who was just in by himself in server. So I'm not even too sure how that happened. If he just, yeah, he killed him from the long angle. So a very good kill from HUD to put CHAWK back into this round.
And with that, another kill's gonna come out. Nylek on fire. That's gotta be at least like 16 kills from him now. He's doing absolutely amazing, but still with the quick refrag will now have control over open area, at least, you know, for the time being. I'm wondering if anybody's gonna be a little bit cheeky, try and stop him. But as we did notice, Thermite was gonna be the first one off. And that's gonna be unfortunate because no walls are going to be opened at all. So it's gonna be a little bit harder for the UNC'S, I'm sure, to get in there and start moving in through sight, but at least with this open area control, it might be a little bit easier for them to kind of start moving their way in through sight. And it seems like Millie is gonna be the first one sneakily doing so, gonna take down Mr. HUD, and it's gonna be a 3v2 now. Schmink and Spider left in a 2v3 with just about a minute remaining on top of the hatch. Said before, they are going to have a control of the UNC'S. Of course, smoke's coming out, but with Warden, doesn't seem like it's gonna be that much of an issue. Unfortunately, though, Millie's an absolute beast. Will take down one, but Spider isn't going to give up just yet. A 1v3 post, or almost a post plant. Damn, let him know. Make it a 1v1. Now we're in the post plant situation. It's gonna be Millie's, who's been doing great this game too against Mr. Spider, and I almost called her a she. He will win it out. The DMR does Mr. Spider dirty. And with that little cat girl meowing, it seems like lightning does strike twice because CHAWK lose their first time going back down basement.
And I'm not really, again, it was one of those rounds where I feel like the UNC'S didn't really have a good entry point into the site to initiate that in the first place, because you still have a ton of utility to clear, smoke canisters, and the smoke just got like really aggressive, died in red hallway because Milan's just walked into the door and there's nobody from CHAWK who like understands like what's happening on the server side of the map. And then in the execute, while the UNC'S almost did play that extremely poorly by giving 1v1s to Spider, in that 1v3, eventually Milish just had to again show up in that round by getting a 3K onto the basement site. And CHAWK are going to try to go back down the basement in order to close this game out 7-5. And they're bringing the same exact lineup, barring one operator, a Kaid for the castle, which is going to help them deny the hatches. So that tells me that they are going to go for a bunker heavy setup for potentially the last round in this matchup.
And I mean, it will be another C4 on the board, so hopefully they'll be able to utilize them, because it seems like every time they have the C4, it doesn't work out, except for that one time they ended up going open, and I believe Spider just ended up getting 2 picks off that C4. So we'll see if it'll be any better this time around. UNC'S gotta secure one more round, and we're going OT, baby, but will CHAWK have it go that far? Nylek been playing absolutely amazing, same thing. Of course, Millie, so we'll see these two opposing forces. Who is stronger? Get also going to be holding down a server, so I guess, or CC, or no, it is server. Holding down server. We'll see if the UNC'S are going to get caught off guard with that one.
No presence across the whole entirety of the first floor, and eventually the drones will confirm that here for the UNC'S. But to be fair, this is a good game plan for CHAWK. Seemingly have hit, and the Kaid in that whole entirety of the prep phase, the UNC'S have nothing to counter any of the Kaid claws. No EMPs, no Maverick, nothing. And so they will very much struggle when it comes to trying to formulate and execute, but not when they're just peeking like that. Gekko dies, and although that's Sagoya, that's still a body down here for CHAWK.
Yeah, that's gonna be unfortunate. We'll see. Not even, they don't even need a thermite. They don't need a regular breach. I guess just the breach charges will do the open that up. And of course, Fugoyo canisters are already off. So they just gotta wait it out a little bit. A minute 20 remain on the board. And of course, CHAWK in a bit of a disadvantage. Will they be able to equalize this out and hold on for as long as they possibly can?
Also for a player going for a back push towards lobby as well as Millis, so they have like some sort of distraction going on the backside, considering the fact that they can't really get the hatches open. So because they can't get the hatches open, they're going to try for a different push to make it easier for themselves to move inside of servers. And already as well, the UNC'S have cleared some utility out of the way. Goyo canisters have now expired as the fire goes out, and are going to throw in the Yinkadelas and go for this execute.
Oh yeah, seems like unfortunately CHAWK is just dropping like flies. Everybody on the UNC'S is winning their ones, and with that Spider is left alone, he is over there previously, and doesn't sound like anything is going too well.
But Plant is going down in the process, and as Plant is completed, Spider is not successful in finding any other kills for CHAWK. That goes around for CHAWK, and now we're going into OT because they cannot close it out here on Bank.
Am I here, Chaka?
Yeah, now you are.
It happens at the worst possible moments. You gotta be kidding me. But OT, Chaka, have I ever told you how much I love OT? I'm a sucker for some OT. What about you?
Defenders protect.
I don't know. I'm very mixed on it. It really just depends on the game. I like
you
OT.
enjoying
I
it
think
this
this
round?
game.
For this time around?
I guess so. This game is making me inspired for OT, especially on this map, because I actually really like Bank. And I'm happy that the UNC'S have like come back, especially from such a big deficit when CHAWK were starting to look slightly better on their defenses and countering everything that that the UNC'S wanted to do on their attack. But I really like that last round on the basement site from the UNC'S, where they had a push coming into basement, or coming in through server, yes, but they also had a back push as well, because they figured out, well, we can't open up the hatches. Let's try and kill players in certain power positions because we can't have any of the hatches open for a hatch drop to go for these aggressive plays.
Attackers are heading
And
out
even
to
with
the
that,
bomb.
the two main hatches they weren't able to get, they ended up going in through vault. So I guess if you can't get one, I believe there is 4 hatches on the basement floor. So at least if you can't get those 2, you'll find your way to get the other ones. And that's what the UNC'S did. They just improvised. One way doesn't work. All right, don't worry. We got 2 more hatches if we really want to drop. We'll see. CHAWK did end up winning this site the first time around. We'll see if they're able to win it the second time around that they've defended now. So, see how this round goes. The UNC'S off a little bit of momentum from that previous round. We'll see Scary already establishing a little bit of space upstairs by Square. We'll see if he's able to pick anybody off top marble.
He falls off just at the right moment when the line ping comes out, and that's a very smart way to fall off, considering the fact that the UNC'S were establishing a lot of top floor pressure and a lot of these cutoff angles. So if he did try to go upstairs, he would be cut off by the player on top square. He backs off slowly, goes into elevator. There's no vertical angles in this specific elevator position. He's safe to play here for the time being, but the UNC'S do have this top floor control. No soft vert though in order to make vertical angles, and so positions like tellers and archives, they can still play strongly in those positions because the UNC'S have no way to counter it other than by going through doors horizontally.
A minute and a half remaining and practically nothing. Nobody has really taken much damage. I'm sure we're going to start seeing the plays get made now as we are going to see this little, I believe this is like a closet against janitor. There we go. Janitor had to get taken down, but dead will be dead to a sleep. 4 HUD will make use of that greatly, and a 4v5 is what we're looking at. CHAWK, the man advantage.
Millis though find a quick trade on the HUD on the horizontal angles, and I believe that was the player inside of archives that Tellers dealt with, but he does have somebody else in that position anyways. So if he wants to try and get this control, he's gonna have to go through Spider first. But it doesn't really seem like the UNC'S have good info on his position or really anywhere towards this first floor.
Geku being absolutely cheeky. Take one, but one isn't enough. He's gonna take down two. That's a boy with the MP5 will ring in their ears. Millie deviant out, and unfortunately, it's gonna be scary. Left in a 1v4. I'm sure it's quite scary for him. I'd be scared too, considering this game is so close. With that, I guess he's just baiting outside the window. Not much else to do, especially with 20 seconds remaining. He doesn't even have bomb in hand, so I think this round, at least this one going on, is going to be it for the UNC. Seems like we're going to be going, hopefully, absolute barn burner. Hopefully we'll see an absolute OT, the full OT, but taking down nobody with these last final seconds. Scary won't find a pick, and he won't find the round win. The UNC's down one round, but they're not out just yet.
Still into OT for the UNCs, and for that round, again, it just seemed like they didn't really have much info on anything that CHAWK were trying to do. No info on the Tellers players, so Twitch didn't have really a good opportunity to walk up with a clear picture in front of her face, and then they also just allowed the flank up marble stairs with two players at the same time droning, and none of those drones on any of their flanks or on that specific gap up the marble stairs, and so they just pay for it with their lives. And that's something that's happened before for UNCs. Whenever they've attacked, is the fact that they just don't really have good info on certain people or on certain positions when they're trying to attack, and so it leaves them very vulnerable when it comes to the mid-round where the defense are trying to make plays. And CHAWK are one of those teams who will try to make plays, especially if they're feeling threatened at any point. So OT match point for CHAWK confirmed. And now they will be attacking the basement site. And to be fair, for both teams, when it comes to their defenses or their attacks, for CHAWK specifically, they've had a very difficult time when it comes to either attacking or defending this bomb site.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, not only that, but I will mention the boys on the UNCs are gonna opt to bring the Solus. No mirror needed. We're gonna take a page out of CHAWK's book. We're gonna bring the Kaid, which I believe is the first time that the UNCs are also gonna be bringing that. But of course, the surprise appearance from Solus, we'll see. And like you said, CHAWK, unfortunately infamous for not being able to neither offensively take or defensively take basement. So we'll see if they can break the curse. I believe that CHAWK has just won once down here, so at least on their attacking. So we'll see, hopefully, if they're going to be able to win this out. Because the UNCs have been quite good at defending over here as well as attacking. We'll see. Already a little bit of establishment made through things like maybe coming down main, opening up the hatches, knowing that the Kite is there. I'm sure they won't be able to open all of them up unless, of course, they have the EMPs, which Thatcher will do the trick.
What I'm looking forward to in this round is for CHAWK to just speed things up, because when they've been attacking the basement site, they've been extremely slow at times. And this time it doesn't seem like Ash has much info around him, so that means that this attack is going to go even slower here for CHAWK, especially if they can't get the Ash in a good position to be effective and speed things up. Solus is going to be the only one upstairs playing on top of the hatch, when at any point, if she gets pressure with flashes or anything like that, she'll have a plan to fall off at any point, but she's just staying there just in case CHAWK get a little bit too overzealous, and if they just give away a pick towards the Solus.
Zolaris is going to be cheeky by the blue stairs. We'll see if he's going to be able to get Mr. Spider off guard. If Spider is able to take down Solus, I'm sure that Zolaris will be there for the refrag, but it actually seems like she's completely given that up. Open area just wasn't the wave, and so she's backed out all the way back down into side. Hatches are going to start to get opened up with absolute ease. They know that Goy was going to be top blue stairs. Seems like they're just waiting for a good opportunity to swing, but as I say that, it seems like Goyo is going to kind of give it up, and unfortunately, he will get taken down by Mr. HUD, and with that, UNCs at a disadvantage, but just under a minute remaining in CHAWK. I can't really tell if they're good at the late game or if they're just not that good. It seems like it's very 50-50 when it comes to them, so we'll see if they're able to close it out as we approach 40 seconds.
And it looks like CHAWK are completely rerouting their whole attack instead of going for a server push, because they really haven't dealt with a lot of the utility over there, and there being one smoke grenade in the back pocket of Dead with 25 seconds left. They're going for a full front take, through red. With the Solis up here, they know that this is going to be happening, and there goes Milas to pop off with the very first pick.
That's going to be unfortunate for Mr. Gekyu, a 4v4, and Scary holding this down, so at least if they go through elevator, it seems like he's got it locked and loaded. With just about 10 seconds remaining, it doesn't seem like CHAWK is going to be able to do much. A 3v3, but the plan isn't going down, and it's not looking that good for them. Unfortunately, Miss Hibana will not be able to make it into sight fast enough, and with that, the UNC'S win their last defensive round on Bank, and CHAWK will lose their last offensive round on Bank. Let's see where CHAWK is going to go, because I don't know if they're going to go basement. I feel like they're just going to end up going archives and tellers because it seems the most successful, but I feel like it was also a lucky success coming from Spider with his C4. No, we're going basement.
Back down into basement. This time they will be sticking it into the mirror. Last round though, again, that attack was very heavily telegraphed by the Solis, playing inside a vault, and then detecting the Yin Candela going in through the hatch as well. So once the Solis got that pick, then everything else was telegraphed, and they realized or heard 3 players inside of elevator trying to make a move. They locked that off with smoke grenades and had a crossfire set up on that position. And then somebody also took care of the back push through servers where the Ying was trying to make a play into. So this time around, CHAWK are going to try and have to lock down their basement defenses, because even when they've tried to play an anchor heavy, roam heavy setup, or a roam heavy setup, they've completely been dominated by the UNC'S before, who have just completely circumvented that by just playing into like a frag heavy strategy.
Yeah, this puts a smile on my face. I don't know if you can tell, but I got a smile ear to ear right now, because seriously, I don't know who is more in favor of this round. CHAWK could have one downstairs, but not nearly as much as UNC'S. It seems like UNC'S dominates when it comes to this basement, both defense and offense, and CHAWK, the only other site that they've won, obviously they can't go open, it's going to be Tellers and Archives. They haven't gone upstairs once, and it just seems like they're not going to bother testing the waters. Not only that, but they're not going to stick to what they've known. Tellers and Archives is just not it. So the basement is where we're at, and this is probably the scariest site to be right now. I'm sure for both teams, this is absolutely just, oh my gosh. I got the chills, and I'm not even playing, but with that already, Zolera's going to establish a little bit of space over here in... might be the one to catch him on guard if he's not careful.
I also don't send a drone towards marbles. They don't necessarily know that the mirror is here, but Scary is very aware of his position.
Spider, and already UNC'S establish the first pick. CHAWK it at the disadvantage.
Yep, that's the mirror down. Scary realizing where the mirror specifically was, despite the drone going past it. That may have just been a bait. Either way, next point of contact is going to be towards the blue stairs. Since they seem to be wanting to go for a service take, they're gonna have to go straight ahead towards or into the gun sight or into the line of sight here of Nilek, who still has to show up. And you have utility to deal with this. The ash charges, you have some smoke grenades that's not gonna necessarily be useful in this position, and you also have EMPs to completely disable the Nilek on the blue stairs, but he finds a pick because Scary pushes all by himself. And to be fair, the UNC'S have no utility to really kill the warden, even if they do deactivate his glasses.
Yeah, that was absolutely nasty. Not like, as you said, not showing up yet. He just seems to show up at the perfect time. And it seems like we're going to be going in through a vault, as they are going to start to open up this hatch. To see maybe the Grimbees are going to be able to kind of scope out the area, as well as that this elevator hatch is going to be open, but they won't be able to make their way in there just yet. The Goyo canisters are going to go off, and I like still holding on to these blue stairs for dear life. We'll see. There is going to be another Goyo canister just outside the elevator. I'm sure that the boys on CHAWK can absolutely know that they're going to be, somebody is going to be pushing in through there now. Gekyu seems to have that third eye, able to see it, and it's going to be the Thatcher and none other. He tries to walk through. Dad is going to take down Nilek, and the boys on the UNC'S are going to be the advantage. And oh my god, they didn't know that Gekyu was in the corner. A 1v2, it turns to a 1v1. Schmink versus Stuh. Unfortunately, he doesn't have bombs, so all Schmink has to do is run and CHAWK it. Win it out by the skin. skin of their teeth. Oh my god, you can't make it up. Gex sitting in that rat spot might have just won them that round. Beautifully done, but oh my gosh, this has me shaking. I'm not even playing, and my heart is pumping.
And honestly, despite that attack for CHAWK, I don't really understand. Like, to be honest with you, neither. I was gonna make like a whole point about like, oh well, they didn't go too badly, but I think it did because like again, the UNC'S have an issue with their late round info being very just not up to par, up to date whatsoever, and it's completely like screwed them over in the end when it came to that execute, not understanding where Geku was, and then towards the end of it, going into such a really bad position to the point where they don't even have the fuser anymore in the 1v1 when the clock is running low, and they just lost on time. So that was very well played from CHAWK to like waste the clock. They've continuously had that game plan on their defenses to try and waste the clock on the roam, and then also having really good info themselves and understanding where the pushes were coming from the UNC'S for that whole entire game when they were on their defenses.
Yeah, I think the way that Gex just ended up getting those kills was there was just not enough time to fully drone out. They needed to get in there, and they needed to plant the bomb as fast as they possibly could. That was their scapegoat, but unfortunately, with the less time on the board, you're not going to be able to check every corner. You're not going to be able to dot all your I's, and you're not going to be able to cross all your T's, and so that was really what bit them in the butt, was unfortunately time just dwindles out, and you have to get sloppy. Unfortunately, you're forced, in that situation, and sometimes it just gets taken advantage of. But well done to CHAWK for winning out finally that basement round.
Yep, and that's gonna hand the UNC'S their very first L of the season, with CHAWK grabbing their second OT win of the season. So congrats to CHAWK, because that really does help their standings in Group B so far. A very competitive group, especially in any other spot that is not second or first. But we're going to head to a short break, and when we come back, we will come back with our final game of tonight between Final Form and Mormon Battalion.
Ooh.